parents secretly used $15,500 on my credit card for my sister's Europe trip. I reported them, hired a lawyer, and turned their scheme upside down. I am Lucas, a 28-year-old man, and my younger sister Lily, a 22-year-old female, recently graduated from college. Our parents have always had an odd approach to parenting, but this newest act has made me enraged. To provide some context, I've always been the responsible member of the family. I worked hard in school, received scholarships, and found a nice career in finance right out of college. I've been financially independent since I was 22, and I'm pleased of my accomplishments. Lily, on the other hand, has always been the baby in the family. Don't get me wrong, I adore my sister, but she's clearly been coddled by our parents. Growing up, it was obvious that Lily was the favorite. She was given the latest clothes and gadgets and was never forced to work part-time or help with home duties. I tried not to let it affect me too much, focused instead on my own aspirations and future, but occasionally the partiality was difficult to ignore. I recall one specific instance when I was 16 and Lily was 10. I'd been saving for months to buy a new gaming console. When I finally had enough money, I joyfully informed my parents that I was going to the store to buy it. To my surprise, they answered, "Oh, we already bought one for Lily last week. You can share hers." I was upset, but I swallowed my disappointment and tried to be pleased for my sister. Let's fast forward to the present. Lily recently finished with a communications degree. I am truly proud of her. She worked hard and earned the right to celebrate her accomplishment. I also sent her a wonderful graduation gift. A new laptop she had been wanting. My mom called me last week. She was overjoyed, telling me how they had prepared the ideal graduation gift for Lily, a month-long vacation of Europe. I was overjoyed for Lily, believing it was a lovely gift from our parents, but then the bombshell dropped. "We used your credit card to book it all," my mother explained nonchalantly, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. "We'll pay you back, of course, but we needed the points from your card to upgrade some of the flights and hotels." I was speechless. I couldn't believe what I heard. When I finally recovered my voice, I inquired about the amount they had spent. The response made me feel as if I had been punched in the gut. $15,500. $15,500 was charged to my credit card without my knowledge or consent. "Mom," I began, trying to keep my voice steady. "You can't just use my credit card without asking me. That's illegal, and $15,500 is a lot of money." She dismissed my concerns. "Oh, don't be so dramatic, Lucas. It's for your sister's graduation. We're family, and family helps each other out. Besides, we're good for it. We'll pay you back eventually." Eventually? What exactly did that mean? And since when has $15,500 been considered casual? I tried to explain to my mother why this was such a significant deal, the effect on my credit score, the possibility that I may need the credit limit for an emergency, and the sheer breach of trust. But she didn't hear it. "You've always been so selfish," she replied, her voice becoming cold. "Can't you just be happy for your sister? This is her big moment, and you're trying to ruin it with your penny-pinching ways." I couldn't believe what I heard. I was considered selfish for being concerned about a $15,500 unauthorized charge on my credit card. I hung off the phone feeling angry, wounded, and incredulous. Over the next few days I tried to talk to my father, hoping he'd be more reasonable, but he agreed with my mother, telling me I was overreacting and that I should be more supportive of my sister. Lily, for her part, appeared clueless to the entire event. When I tried to talk to her about it, she just gushed about how happy she was for the trip and thanked me for helping with her graduation gift. I felt crazy. Was I truly the unreasonable one here? I decided to phone the credit card company to dispute the charges, but to my astonishment, I learned that my parents had used my card information, which they kept in case of an emergency, to book everything online. The credit card company stated that because I had provided them my information, it was not deemed fraud. Now I'm faced with a $15,500 bill, a maxed-out credit card, and a family who thinks I'm greedy for refusing to pay my sister's lavish vacation. I am hurt, furious, and feel betrayed by those who are supposed to love and support me. I do not know what to do. Part of me wants to cancel the entire vacation, but I know it would cause a major schism in our family. Another part of me wants to just pay it off to avoid the fuss, but $15,500 is a large sum of money, and the principle of the situation bothers me. Plus, I'm concerned that if I let this go, it may set a precedent for future financial exploitation. Am I overreacting? Should I just suck it up and pay for my sister's vacation, or should I remain firm, even if it means risking my connection with my family? I'm feeling lost and could use some advice. Update 1. I appreciate everyone's encouraging remarks and advice. I was stunned by the huge response to my post. Reading through your comments helped me realize that I wasn't insane for feeling violated and outraged over this scenario. I took your counsel and decided to take action. First, I called my credit card company again to escalate the situation. I described the scenario in detail, emphasizing that, while my parents had my card information for emergencies, I had never allowed this exact use. After some back and forth, they decided to look into the charges as possible fraud. Next, I sent a group text to my parents and Lily, requesting a Zoom call to discuss the problem. I wanted to give them the opportunity to set things right before taking more serious actions. The call was intense. I began by calmly describing why their actions were unacceptable. The legal consequences, the violation of trust, and the financial strain it placed on me. I informed them that I had reported the transactions as fraudulent and that they needed to cancel the trip immediately. My parents' reaction did not meet my expectations. They were furious, accusing me of being dramatic and attempting to derail Lily's graduation party. My mom went so far as to say, "We raised you, clothed you, and put a roof over your head. The least you could do is help give your sister the trip of a lifetime." I took a deep breath before responding. "You chose to have children. Providing for us was your responsibility as parents. It doesn't mean you get to commit credit card fraud in my name." And Lily, who had remained calm until now, burst into sobs. "I can't believe you're trying to ruin my graduation gift," she said. "You've always been jealous of me. Why can't you be happy for me for once?" Her comments hurt, but they also bolstered my determination. I saw that this pattern of entitlement and favoritism was pervasive, and it was necessary to establish some clear boundaries. "Lily," I began, trying to keep my voice calm but firm. "I'm happy for you. I'm proud of your graduation. But this trip was booked illegally using my money without my permission. It's not a gift from me, and it's not okay." My father, who had been unusually silent, eventually spoke up. "Son, we didn't think it was such a big deal. We've always had access to your card for emergencies. We just thought, as family, it would be okay this one time." I couldn't believe what I heard. "Dad, $15,500 is not a small amount, and this was not an emergency. You can't just decide to spend my money without asking me." The call concluded with my parents outraged, Lily in tears, and me exhausted yet determined. They declined to cancel the trip, claiming that I was overreacting and that they would reimburse me. Soon after the call, I took the next move. I contacted a lawyer buddy of mine and discussed the circumstances. He informed me that what my parents did was illegal, and that if I chose to take legal action, I would have valid reasons. I also went to the police station and reported the unauthorized usage of my credit card. The officer I dealt with was compassionate and took down all the information. He advised me that pressing charges would most certainly cause a significant schism in my family, but he also informed me that I was perfectly within my rights to do so. I'm still torn about what to do next. On the one hand, I adore my family, and the thought of pursuing legal action against them makes me sick. On the other hand, their behavior is inappropriate, and I'm concerned that if I don't take a firm stance now, this will happen again in the future. For the time being, I've opted to await the results of the credit card company's investigation. I have also frozen my credit to prevent further fraudulent usage of my information. This entire experience has made me understand that I need to set tighter boundaries with my family. I've always tried to be the peacekeeper, to smooth things over and make everyone happy, but in doing so, I've let myself be taken advantage of numerous times. I am hurt and outraged, but I also feel a strange sense of empowerment. For the first time, I'm standing up for myself and saying, no. This is not okay. It's unsettling and frightening, but it also feels important. Thank you all again for your encouragement and wisdom. I'll update again if I receive more information about the credit card investigation, or if anything else happens with my family. Update 2. It's been several weeks since my last update, and a lot has happened. I'd like to thank everyone again for their help and advice. Your remarks have given me strength at this tough time. First, good news. The credit card company's probe ended in my favor. They agreed that the accusations were improper and reversed them. It's a big relief to have the $15,500 burden removed off my shoulders. Now for the familial fallout. When my parents and Lily discovered that the vacation had been canceled owing to a credit card chargeback, all hell broke loose. My phone was full of angry calls and texts. My mother left a particularly harsh voicemail, calling me a greedy, ungrateful son who had ruined Lily's life. Lily resorted to social media, sharing an emotional video describing how her spiteful brother had ruined her ideal graduation trip. Some of our shared acquaintances and extended family members began to contact me, asking why I was treating my younger sister so badly. The situation was spiraling out of control, and I realized I needed to correct the record. I made a calm, factual post detailing what had actually happened, how my card had been used without my consent, and how I had attempted to handle the situation with my family before contacting the credit card company. The response to my post was varied. Some others were supportive, expressing surprise at my parents' behavior. Others still believed I should have just taken one for the team and let Lily have her trip. It was surprising to learn how many people believed it was acceptable to conduct fraud as long as it was for family. A few days after my post, I got a surprise call from my aunt, my mother's sister. She was empathetic to my predicament and told me about some family history that I didn't know. Apparently, my mother had a history of financial carelessness and had previously taken advantage of family members. My aunt encouraged me to hold firm and offered her support. This chat with my aunt made me realize that the problem was deeper than simply this one episode. It was a pattern of behavior that had been tolerated and justified for years. I understood then that I needed to set clear boundaries, not just for myself, but also to halt the pattern of financial abuse. I decided to take a major step. I informed my parents that I would be in no communication with them for the foreseeable future. I mentioned that I needed time to comprehend what had transpired and could not trust them just now. I also informed Lily that, while I loved her and was pleased of her accomplishments, I wanted some space from her as well. Their reactions were unsurprisingly negative. My parents accused me of pulling the family apart. Lily screamed, accusing me of punishing her for something she didn't do. It was difficult, but I stood by my decision. In the midst of all this familial dysfunction, I've been working on safeguarding myself against future financial exploitation. I changed all of my passwords, closed the credit card that my parents had access to, and opened a new one with a different bank. I've also started seeing a therapist to work through my emotions about the situation and establish healthier limits. One unexpected positive result of this journey has been a closer relationship with my aunt and a couple of cousins who have reached out to provide assistance. It's comforting to know that not everyone in my family feels what my parents did was acceptable. Regarding Lily's graduation vacation, I heard through the family grapevine that my parents are still considering about sending her somewhere. Part of me feels sorry for her losing out on the Europe trip, but I keep reminding myself that it was not my obligation to provide it for her. I am still dealing with thoughts of guilt and mistrust. There are times when I question if I did the right thing, or if I was too harsh. But then I recall how violated I felt when I learned what they had done, and I know I made the correct decision by sticking up for myself. This incident was a tough wake-up call, but it also taught me valuable lessons about self-respect and setting limits. I'm learning that it's all right to say no, even to family, and that love should not have a price. Thank you again for your support. I'll keep you updated if there are any important developments, but for the time being, I'm focusing on healing and moving forward. Post 3. It's been approximately 2 months since my last post, and I'd want to share some developments with you all. Your ongoing support and advice have been vital during this difficult time. First, I'll address the most important issue, the legal status. After careful study and consulting with my lawyer, I decided not to file charges against my parents. This was not an easy decision, and I know many of you advised me to pursue legal action. However, my lawyer said that because the credit card company had reversed the charges, prosecuting a criminal case would be hard and potentially costly, with no assurance of success. Instead, we wrote my parents a formal cease and desist letter, informing them that any future attempts to use my financial information would result in instant legal action. Now for the family situation. My no-contact period with my parents and Lily has been both difficult and educational. It's given me time to ponder on our family relationships and improve myself. I've been going to therapy on a regular basis, which has been quite beneficial in helping me process my feelings and set healthier limits. About a month into the no-contact period, I got an unexpected email from Lily. Compared to her prior crying claims, this email was rather sophisticated. She wrote that she had thought a lot about our parents' actions and realized how wrong they were. She apologized for her first reaction and for not advocating for me. Lily said that she had always known about the favoritism but had been too afraid and comfortable to question it. I was cautiously optimistic about Lily's email but decided to take it slowly. We've had a few phone talks since then, and I can tell she truly wants to understand my point of view. She revealed some of her own experiences with our parents' financial irresponsibility, which she had previously kept to herself. The aborted trip to Europe appears to have served as a wake-up call for her as well. My parents have been less inclined to accept responsibility. They've made multiple attempts to reach me, including angry voicemails and guilt-tripping emails. My mother even showed up at my place unexpectedly one day, causing quite a ruckus in the hallway. I held firm and refused to engage, which was difficult but important. The situation with extended family members has been mixed. Some family have been helpful, particularly my aunt, who first contacted out. She has become an important ally and source of support. Others, however, continue to encourage me to reconcile with my parents, citing the "but their family" argument. I've had to distance myself from some of these family for my own mental health. On a good side, this predicament has resulted in some unanticipated personal development. With the time and energy I used to devote to dealing with my family's problems, I've been able to concentrate more on my own life and ambitions. I've started a new passion, photography, and I'm spending more time with pals that respect my boundaries. I've also made important financial decisions. I've upped my payments to retirement accounts and begun to construct a more substantial emergency fund. This entire experience has truly emphasized the significance of financial independence and stability. Last week, I had an especially satisfying moment. I was promoted at work, which came with a big wage increase. Previously, I might have felt forced to share this news and the financial rewards with my family. This time, I celebrated quietly with a few close friends, pleased of my successes but free of shame or obligation to share. Regarding Lily's graduation vacation, my aunt informed me that our parents decided to send her on a 2-week tour of California. Lily seemed to appreciate it. Looking ahead, I am cautiously optimistic. I've chosen to extend my no-contact period with my parents for at least 3 more months. I need more time to recuperate and to determine whether they are capable of respecting my boundaries. I'm willing to gradually re-establish our relationship with Lily, but I'm treading carefully and setting firm boundaries. This event taught me a lot about setting boundaries, advocating for myself, and understanding the actual meaning of family. I've understood that family is more than just blood links. It's about mutual respect, support, and love. The friends and relatives who have supported me during this ordeal have taught me what true family is like. I also learned an important lesson about financial freedom. I've always been good with money, but this situation has made me even more attentive. I've increased security measures on all of my accounts and grown more forceful about protecting my financial information, even from family members. There have been moments of doubt and sadness, particularly when I have missed family gatherings due to the no-contact policy. Mother's Day was very painful, but I remind myself that this separation is essential for my mental health and personal development. One unanticipated result of this scenario is that I've become a resource for friends who are coping with financial problems in their own families. Several people have contacted me for guidance on setting boundaries and dealing with financially irresponsible family members. It is great to be able to assist others in similar situations. My aunt informed me that my parents are experiencing financial difficulties. Apparently, they had planned to use my credit for more than simply Lily's vacation. This has resulted in some arguments between them, with my father blaming my mother for going too far with the credit card fraud. Part of me feels awful knowing they're struggling financially, but I remind myself that it's not my obligation to correct their poor financial decisions. Lily has provided some insight into our parents' reactions to all of this. She claims they're still not sure why I responded so strongly. They regard their acts as a natural part of being a family and don't understand why I'm making such a big deal about it. This lack of understanding is frustrating, but it also confirms that I made the proper decision to distance myself. I've been reflecting a lot about my upbringing and early adulthood, noticing patterns of financial and emotional exploitation that I had internalized. It's been both heartbreaking and liberating. I'm learning to validate my own emotions and experiences without needing permission from my parents. In my personal life, I've begun dating again. I was scared to become involved with anyone while dealing with so much family dysfunction, but I recently met someone who has been quite sympathetic of my position. It's early days, but it feels fantastic to be connecting with someone that respects my boundaries and principles. I'm also considering making some major life adjustments. I've always wanted to get a master's degree, but I put it off because I was concerned about how it would affect my capacity to support my family financially. Now I'm actively researching programs and contemplating taking the plunge. It is empowered to make decisions based simply on what is best for me and my future. As I write this report, I am impressed by how much has changed in only a few months. The initial shock and indignation have subsided, replaced by a sense of quiet determination. I am no longer simply responding to my family's activities. I'm actively building the life I desire for myself. To those of you who are coping with similar family troubles, I want to express that it will get better. Setting boundaries is difficult, and there may be reaction. But stay strong. You have the right to safeguard yourself, your wealth, and your mental health. Thank you all for your continued support throughout this adventure. Your counsel and encouragement have been lifelines. I am not sure what the future holds for my relationship with my parents and sister, but I am confident that whatever happens, I will be fine. I'm stronger, more confident in myself, and prepared to face whatever comes next. I will provide an update if there are any important developments, but for the time being, I am focused on moving forward and creating the life I want, surrounded by people who respect and support me. Here's to new beginnings and hard-gained wisdom. Update 4. It's been 6 months since my previous update, and I felt it was time to share the most recent developments with everyone who has been so supportive along this trip. First, the major news. I've been accepted to a master's program at a city around 3 hours from where I now live. It's a 2-year financial technology curriculum that precisely coincides with my professional ambitions. I start this fall, and I'm both eager and scared about this new chapter in my life. The decision to seek this degree was not simple. It entails leaving my work, relocating to a new city, and taking out some student debts. However, it also entails investing in myself and my future in ways I've always wanted to. I realized I had been holding myself back by constantly considering how my decisions would affect my family. Now I'm making decisions based on what's best for me, which feels extremely liberated. My family situation has taken unexpected turns. My no-contact period with my parents officially ended 2 months ago. I consented to participate in a family therapy session led by a professional therapist. It was intense. My parents responded defensively, arguing that they had done nothing wrong. However, as the discussion went, several shocking truths emerged. It turned out that my father had lost a considerable amount of money in a disastrous venture, which he had kept from everyone, including my mother. They'd been discreetly struggling financially for months and saw my credit card as a method to keep up appearances. This discovery caused a lot of tears and recriminations. My mother felt betrayed by my father's secrecy. My father felt ashamed of his terrible financial judgments. And both of them seemed to realize the significance of what they had done to me. While this explanation does not justify their actions, it does help me understand the desperation that drove their awful decisions. The therapist assisted us in working through some of these difficulties, and for the first time, I received genuine apologies from both of my parents. We agreed to continue family therapy sessions on a monthly basis. It's a lengthy process, and I'm still setting tough boundaries, but I'm cautiously optimistic about repairing our connection on better terms. Lily has continued to develop and mature. She has taken steps to achieve financial independence, such as taking a full-time job and moving into her own apartment. We've started communicating more frequently, and I feel like I'm getting to know my sister as an adult for the first time. She's even asked for budgeting and saving tips, which feels like a big step forward in our relationship. On a personal level, the relationship I highlighted in my previous report has developed into something wonderful. Ingrid has been really supportive of my desire to return to school, despite the fact that it will need us to travel large distances for some time. Her personal experiences with creating boundaries with family have made her an invaluable source of support and understanding. Financially, I'm doing well. The promotion I obtained enabled me to save a large amount of money for my transfer and to help offset some of the expenditures of graduate studies. I've also gotten much more forceful in protecting my financial information. I recently had to turn down an attempt by a distant relative to persuade me to co-sign a loan. It was not easy, but I held firm, and it felt good to establish my boundaries. As I prepare for this new chapter in my life, I've been thinking about how much has changed since that first shocking phone call from my mother about the credit card charges. The pain and rage I felt back then have mostly vanished, giving way to a sense of empowerment and self-assurance I had no idea I had. I've learned a lot from this experience. I've learned the value of establishing and keeping boundaries, especially with family. I've realized that it's acceptable to prioritize my own well-being and future, and I've learned that true family, whether blood or choice, encourages growth and respects personal limits. Thank you to everyone who has followed my story and contributed support and advice along the way. During some of the most trying times, your words have provided me with strength and insight. Those going through comparable family issues should know that they can come out stronger and wiser. As I pack my flat and prepare for this new journey, I experience a surge of excitement and possibilities that I haven't felt in years. I am proud of how far I have come, and I am excited about what the future holds. I may not be able to update for a long due to my upcoming move and start of school, but I will always be grateful for the support I've received here.